ugh, I was so good all week and then I slipped up on the weekend. Why did you eat all that? You're never gonna hit your goals. You need to cut carbs and do extra cardio tomorrow to make up for it. If this sounds like your inner voice, this video is for you. The real reason that you're stuck in this spiral of binging and restricting isn't about what you're eating, it's how you're thinking about what you eat. It's the guilt, the shame. Hi, I'm Dee Gautam, founder of the Boss Body Revolution. Right now, I help South Asian women get stronger, leaner, and healthier with the right structure and sustainable habits. But before all this, I was stuck in that same exact shame spiral. I remember sitting on the kitchen floor at 2 a.m., surrounded by empty bags of chips, crying because I ruined everything again. All week, I tracked, I prepped, I followed every rule on my diet perfectly. But then Friday night came. One brownie turned into three turned into screw it, I already messed up, and by Sunday night, I was already planning my Monday restriction to get back on the wagon. Sound familiar? Let's break this down. Most women think that they're failing because they don't have enough discipline, but that's not the real issue. I'm willing to bet that if you're watching this, you are a high-achieving woman who has a lot of willpower, discipline, and drive to go after the things that you want. Maybe that's in your career or other areas. But why is it so hard to lose the weight? Why do you keep staying trapped in this binge and restrict cycle? A huge part of it is this constant guilt and shame every time you overeat. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why that happens and what to do about it, so you can feel confident heading into your weekends without overeating. So first, let's talk about the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is this idea that I did something wrong. Shame is this idea that I am a bad person, I'm a flawed person. Now, there is something wrong with me. Guilt can sometimes motivate us to take action, but shame is very paralyzing. It makes you feel like the problem is you, like no one else ever overeats, you're the only one because there's something wrong with you. And when you feel broken like that, what is the point of trying, right? So that shame combined with this intense food restriction is exactly what leads to binging. As South Asian women, we're particularly susceptible to this shame cycle because of the cultural conditioning around food and our body image. We are taught from a young age that food equals love. We're also raised with this idea that good girls are disciplined and controlled, so when we lose control around food, it feels like a moral failing, not just a dietary choice. And there's the perfectionism that many high-achieving South Asian women carry. We expect to execute our diet plan flawlessly, and when we don't, we catastrophize it as a complete failure. Add to all this the pressure to be thin, family comments about our bodies, and the constant comparison to others. You have this perfect storm for shame about our bodies and eating habits. But here's what I want you to understand. This shame is not serving you. It's not motivating you to make better choices. It's driving you to make worse ones. So we're going to dive into some tools to actually combat this later in the video. But one more thing before we dive into that, I need you to know that the shame is one piece of the binge cycle. The second is the restriction. Restriction keeps you trapped in this cycle. Why? Because when you restrict yourself so hard, cutting out all your favorite foods, under eating, slashing carbs, starving yourself during the week, your brain starts to fixate on those forbidden foods because you put them on a pedestal. The more you restrict them, the more you crave. We want what we can't have. Not to mention the physical aspect. You're just hungry. You're not eating enough. Your body needs nutrients, and eventually that tension and hunger is going to break. You reach for a cookie, which turns into 6, then you feel out of control. And so this restriction and the shame combined sets you up to be stuck in this cycle. But it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It is a cycle that can be broken. So let's talk about what we can actually do about it. So how do we actually fix this cycle? I'm going to share some strategies with you so you can build a better relationship with food and actually reach your goals. A couple mindset shifts and then some tactical strategies with food. So let's start with the mindset shifts. This first one is super powerful. It's something I teach all our clients. And this is lead with curiosity, not judgment. Now, what does this actually look like? It means that after you have an overeating episode, which you will have because it is normal, it happens when you're a human in a body, you will overeat at some point, right? Instead of judging yourself, try to just be curious, right? What happened? Was I actually hungry? Was I trying to soothe something or escape something? How did I go into that meal feeling stressed or anxious in some way? Not in a shaming way, not in a beating yourself up way, literally just getting curious. Maybe you didn't eat enough before. Maybe you are stressed about work or something and we were using food to escape. Maybe your diet's just too restrictive during the week, so you were having this really intense craving. I'm not saying you need to love the fact that you're overweight. It sucks, but just get curious. Try to look at the facts neutrally. Shame is like quicksand. The more you struggle and beat yourself up, the more you sink. But if we slow down, we breathe, we reach for something stable like curiosity or a plan, we're able to get ourselves out. So curiosity is the antidote for judgment. It is how we start to rewire that pattern. Get curious. Lead with curiosity. Mindset shift number 2 is be like a rubber band, snap back fast. We all have slip-ups. That is normal. But the difference between somebody who succeeds and somebody who stays stuck is that bounce back time, that recovery speed. You're gonna mess up on your journey, right? It's just how quickly can you come back from it and learn. When you eat off plan, instead of spiraling into, I blew it, I'll start Monday, that meal wasn't, like, I feel so bloated. It's about how quickly you can come back from it and learn. Let's say you overeat on Friday night. Do you get back on track on Saturday doing the best you can with breakfast? Or do we let Friday night turn into Saturday night, turn into Sunday night, turn into, oh my God, I gotta start over on Monday, right? So we wanna snap back as quickly as possible. Let Friday night, let that overeating, it happened. It is what it is. We're gonna get back on track on Saturday, do our best with lunch, dinner, and have a plan if we're going out again. Your next move matters so much more than your last mistake. And the faster you snap back, the more progress you can make. Here's an analogy. When you're driving down the highway, imagine you're going somewhere and you miss an exit. What happens? Your GPS doesn't scream at you, you're the worst driver ever, you need to go back home, you're never gonna get to where you wanna go, right? It literally just says, okay, we're gonna reroute ourselves. And that's what you have to do with your body. Sometimes you're gonna miss an exit. Sometimes you're gonna take the wrong turn, right? And so the faster you can get back on track to the highway or the path that you're on, the faster you're gonna get to your destination, right? You don't need to turn around and turn it into this whole thing of like, oh my God, I need to go home because I'm the worst person ever for missing an exit, right? It happens. Overeating happens to all of us. Now let's go through some tactical tools to break this cycle. These are strategies we actually give to our clients to help them eat without overeating. The first tool is to practice a pause. Before you eat, take 3 deep breaths, check in with your body, and ask yourself, am I physically hungry or am I feeling something emotionally? Either answer is valid. Literally just take a second, pause, check in with yourself, and name it. That awareness is the first step to taking control. The second tip is the 80-20 guideline. 80% of your meals have the whole, nutrient-dense, quote-unquote, healthy and balanced. 20% of the time include the fun stuff. Maybe that is a cookie or a bag of your favorite chips or just something fun, right? Maybe you're eating out. We don't want to put these things on a pedestal, again, because you're just going to crave them even more. So having a good relationship with food involves practicing incorporating these treats, being mindful with them, and building that skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. So if you don't practice it, you're not going to get good at it. So if you are learning to track your macros or tracking your calories, fit in a little fun food every day. Yes, you heard that right, a fun food every day. 20% of the time, incorporate something fun. And what this looks like in practice is usually one little fun food or snack every day, around like 100 to 200 calories. What I do is I'll sometimes have a serving of chips in the afternoon. I'll make a Greek yogurt salsa dip. I mix Greek yogurt and salsa together, and I'll make a little snack plate with a little bit of chips, that dip, and then some cut up vegetables. So I get my protein, my fiber, but I still get that satisfaction and crunch from the chips. Another thing that I personally do is I like to have dessert. So I buy these like mini ice cream bars or the mini ice cream sandwiches, and I love incorporating that at the end of the day to satisfy that little sweet tooth. So practice incorporating these treats mindfully, have a little fun food here and there, and slowly you'll start to remove these things off a pedestal. They'll be more normalized and you'll feel more in control around them. I know this might sound crazy, but that consistent exposure really will help you build a better relationship with food. Tool number 3 is the satisfaction check. After you eat something indulgent, ask yourself, did I enjoy it? Was that worth it? If the answer is yes, amazing. If no, what can you learn for next time? Sometimes we're eating things just because it's there or because we have that all or nothing mindset of like, I slipped up, might as well keep going, right? Not because we actually want the item. So learn to be picky about your indulgences and prioritize the things that you really want to be eating. And then tool number 4 is the self-compassion script when you overeat. Instead of beating yourself up, try saying, that wasn't my best choice, but I'm human. What would support me better next time? So I want to go through some real stories from real women that we've worked with who've had the same exact struggle. Take Ayana, for example. Ayana used to feel stuck in this loop of like, I should be doing better, but she didn't know where to start. She tried eating healthier, she tried being more active, but nothing really stuck. So since joining BBR, though, she has dropped 2 dress sizes, she's run a 5K, and she's fitting into clothes she hasn't worn in years. Eating healthy, moving her body is not just things that she's forcing herself to do, they're part of who she is now and her daily habits. Aditi, a busy physician, joined BBR after struggling to get enough protein as a vegetarian and feeling unmotivated in the gym. She tried Orangetheory, but she never saw lasting results from it, likely because her nutrition was not set up for success. So with just 1 month into our program, with support from her coach Abrar, she learned how to track her macros, fit in her favorite lazy foods, and train effectively. At 5'2", she changed her body composition, built strength, reduced bloating, and feels so much better in her body. So Ayana and Aditi didn't need more discipline, didn't need more willpower, they just needed the right structure. So if you're reading this and resonating, I want you to know that you are not the problem. The shame and restrictive dieting is keeping you stuck. Guilt doesn't lead to weight loss, but structure, learning, curiosity, and self-compassion do. So if you're nodding along right now, I have a free emotional eating toolkit that I made just for you. Click the link below in the description to download it. It's full of practical tools you can use today. And if you're looking for deeper support, we're actually accepting a few applicants to our one-on-one coaching program in the Boss Body Revolution. We help South Asian women shed fat, build muscle, and feel really good in their bodies without guilt, shame, judgment, or restrictive diets. So I want you to drop something that resonated with you from this video in the comments. Maybe it is learning how to bounce back from a rough weekend, incorporating fun foods, including cultural foods, or just being kinder to yourself. You deserve to reach your goals without punishing yourself to get there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.